What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the Resurgent in Faith podcast with your host, Trey Wade, or Trey Ski. And I'm just glad for y'all to be back. Today I want to be talking about, the mindset shift that you have to take. The mindset shift that you have to take in order for you to, just as an entrepreneur, which is something that is really big, so from the last episode, I do believe I'm going to post this one right after the first episode. But we already know that my dad has groomed me once he got out of prison to, already start that mindset shift of becoming an entrepreneur. And he gave us the book Rich Dad Poor Dad for Teens. And if you have not read that book, or you're just looking for a book to read, I do highly suggest that one, even if you're not a teenager. After I read that, I did years later read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and which kind of just went more deeper into those entry level topics. So I feel like Rich Dad Poor Dad for Teens is a great starter book, and then reading Rich Dad Poor Dad after that kind of gives you more oomph to it, in my opinion. But you already know I got my notes here so I don't lose track. But so yeah, that's basically how I was becoming to be wired from a young age. And when it comes to the difference between what I've learned, the difference between a worker mentality and an entrepreneurial mentality is that when you are an entrepreneur, you are literally looking to fail. When you fail, that's what gets you further. Like, that's how you learn. That whole process of failing and getting back up and failing and getting back up is literally what we are looking for. And that's literally what Robert Kiyosaki was even talking about. And even actually do more research and you can listen to YouTube videos, like listen to Myron Golden and all these other things. They all in their story had to fail in order to learn. And and an entrepreneur, that's what you're looking for, basically. When you are a worker per se, those failures, you are literally demonized for it. Or I'm not gonna say demonized, maybe did I use that? Let me just look up that word. So demonize can mean like demon, and let me make sure. So no, that's not the right word. The right word, demonize, means to vilify someone, basically. And I don't feel like you're being villain, but you are literally basically you are frowned upon. Like, failures are not looked at in the same way when you are a worker than you are an entrepreneur. And that's one big shift that I didn't notice. And with my failure, because I am a perfectionist, I did have to work through that. But now I can fully say that when it comes to failure, I'm kind of ready for it. Even as I do transition back into the working class and just working again, and not being held at the same standard as an entrepreneur. I really hope I'm saying this in the best way possible, because I'm not trying to really say one is better than the other, because in all honesty, you need both. And it's important for you to have both, only for some fact that if you just go in with a full entrepreneur mindset, which is what a lot of things are going on now due to capitalism, I'm sorry, we have literally lost the plot of what it means to be an entrepreneur. And that is like my main thing that I love, or my main reason for wanting to be an entrepreneur in the first place, so that I can service people. Like, I didn't learn this until more recently, that I love service. I love servicing people. I love to be of service to people. Like, I love helping out. I love being there for somebody else. And in order for you to be able to be there for somebody else, you have to know the struggles that they're going through. And how do you know those struggles? I'm sorry, I'm thinking a bit fast because I'm getting very passionate about this. How do you know those struggles? You have to be able to go through those struggles. Most people who go through the struggles are literally working class citizens. So you're learning from what they do. You are learning from what they or with the issue, the bottlenecks that are going through, and you are looking for a resolution for that. Nowadays, it's just we're looking for money, 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 like Mr. Krabs. And I'm not saying money is a bad thing, but money is is more of a byproduct for me. And that's more of a mentality shift that you have to go through. Honestly, that's literally a mentality shift that you have to go through. Learning that money is not the end all be all. It is the byproduct of, pretty much. So I feel like we are literally losing the plot currently. It's everywhere. Everybody are literally losing the plot and forgetting what it really means to be an entrepreneur at heart. Why are you here? Because without the working class citizens, there could be no entrepreneurs. There could be nobody buying into our stuff. There could be nobody for us to service if nobody was like you. Y'all get my point. We are literally losing the plot as we speak of why it's so important to be an entrepreneur, or the importance of being an entrepreneur. But like I said, I'm literally going back to the working class or just a job in general, and I kind of want to wrestle what that feels like for me, because when I worked under my dad, although I was still working up under him, I did have a lot more freedom in a sense of building a business with somebody, you know what I mean? So with me going back to a job, I'm like, okay, I do not have the freedom to do all as I please like I used to. I used to be able to wake up whenever I wanted to, go to sleep whenever I wanted to. But I don't think that is a bad thing, because now that I have both perspectives, I feel like I will be able to accomplish more in my working journey. So instead of me just thinking in a sense of, oh my goodness, I'm literally going back to work and this is something that I wanted to leave, the whole working class, it was making me miserable. It was making me, I didn't want a job again. I feel like I will get more of an understanding now of why it is important to be in the working class, so that I can learn more when it comes to my entrepreneurial journey, if that makes sense. But the question here is, does the entrepreneurial mindset make you better at a job? Yes and no. I would say yes, because like I said, you are able to see the things that like the working class, like if you aren't groomed in that sense, you won't be able to see unless you are trying to be more of an entrepreneur or trying to shift your mindset to be an entrepreneur. So yes, but no. No, in a sense of, because if you being an entrepreneur, you're not going to work under anybody. I feel like that also makes it harder for you to stay under working with somebody, because it's like, okay, I know that I have the capabilities to be my own entrepreneur. Let me go ahead and do that, but we need the money to be able to do so. So that's like kind of another big shift that I have to go through. We have bills. We literally are still in a fully capitalist country. So we have to go to work. We can't sit back and just always be so creative and just wait for things to happen, because we are not like back in the old days where we can build our own houses and do all these other stuff. Well, we technically can, but we don't. That's not something that is normalized now. Like, that's not something that we just go through. And all of that mindset shift and whatever else that I just talked about. Oh, let me point that out. Being an entrepreneur, this is another reason why I feel like you need to have both sides, because I'm gonna give you my own example. So on my creative side, and it could be a possibility I do talk about my creative side a lot more, because that is literally my passion, like my creative side. System side, which is what this is considered to be, kind of sort of more of my entrepreneurial journey, and talking about like what I've learned entrepreneurially, or just, did I make that word up? I don't know. But anyways, y'all get what I'm trying to say. My creative side, we have this Marvel DC community that I was able to be a part of, and is still currently a part of. But when I got there, it was dead. Like, it was dead, and it's still not alive. But that's for a whole totally different reason now. But when I came in, being the social media, I'm not gonna say expert, but being that I have studied for over 5 years how to run a social media, what to look at, and I'm still doing research on it now because things are changing with the widespread of AI. The main person, Loopy, I gave him a plan. Again, that was my only thing to do from a business standpoint. Is to give somebody a plan so that we can figure out some content that we can put out, that we can start getting the thing jumping again. You know what I mean? And see how to say this. As I was putting it out, we made one of the first posts or whatever, and when I did it, I do use AI. He said that it sounds like AI, which it wasn't. I literally made the caption myself. I told AI exactly how to write it. So that was like me, and I took offense to it at first. But before, let me preface with this. I do not use AI to replace. I use it in conjunction with. AI is literally pointless if you do not have the mindset shift to even utilize it in the proper ways. Like, people are so, and I'm not saying they should not be afraid of AI, because AI can do some of the most unbelievable things. Me, I'd like to use it safely. I like to use it as a tool, not as a replacement. So let's go further on. When he first said that, I explained to him that it's probably because, like, I literally have been groomed to be in an entrepreneur mindset. So, like, the verbiage that I use will always come from that standpoint. But it did hurt my feelings a bit. Like, I did have to be like, wow. And that is where I kind of got that this whole topic of having both. That's how I came to this, and this is what I had to learn, that you have to have both. It's not one or the other. But all of that still follows under mindset, and mindset follows under mental health in my stance. Because if you do not have the mental health as an entrepreneur or a worker, you will literally deteriorate yourself. Like, you will literally deteriorate your mind. Am I using these words correctly? Let me see. Deteriorate means to become progressively worse. So yes, yes, I was using that correctly. You literally deteriorate your mind. And first and foremost, that's why I always push therapy, especially when it comes to the Black community, because of the stigma that we all have had. I had it. Like, my mindset was, why would I want to pay somebody or even tell somebody who was licensed all of my business? What would be the point of telling somebody all of my business, like they're going to really be able to help me? And I know that stigma is literally slowly getting lifted off now, the more people talk about therapy and stuff. But I'm going to be another person that talks about therapy, because I really want the people in my family to be able to go through it and not have that same stigma. Like, I really want us as a community to be more healed, in a sense, because there's a lot of trauma, and not even just trauma from my parents, but trauma from my parents' parents. And so basically generational trauma. Generational trauma is what I'm talking about. So that's what I was going to talk about. If you haven't watched my last episode, I do highly suggest you go ahead and watch it. But it was an execution era event that I said that my dad was putting on, that I was supposed to speak at, but I didn't. And that was my whole standpoint, because without the mindset, or without the proper mental health, or in good standing with mental health, all those tools, all that executioner stuff, all that literally doesn't matter. Because every time you go through something, it's literally going to take a toll on you mentally. And as it takes a toll on you mentally, those mental things will start to come out physically. So during that execution era, that was one of my core things, like I said, and I basically want people to know that it's okay to take a step back for your mental fortitude. Like, it's very important for you to even take a step back, because if you take that step back, get the proper sleep, get the treatment that you need, talk to a therapist about whatever you are going through, you will literally be able to come back 2 times as hard, if not even more than that. And that's both on the working side and on the entrepreneurial side. I've always pushed that. I said always push that while shaking my head. No, that's crazy. But I will always push that, because that is literally one of the most biggest things of my life. And I could really go deeper into mental health. And I don't think that this is the episode for that, honestly. I just wanted to really highlight that you really need both. You really need both in order to conquer being a good entrepreneur. Because having both will also, again, help you treat your team better. When you do get a team, it will allow you to have so much more humility when it comes to the way they work and just the things. Like, it's just, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it more deeper than that. You need both. That's all I would say. That's the bottom line. You do need both. And I do say that I am, and I will be, the first generation entrepreneur. I'm speaking into existence. I'm 22, and I do believe that I will be the first entrepreneur on my mom's side, because my dad has already technically taken that. Although I don't feel like, being up for like 7-8 years is pretty successful. He's still in the same spot, but to be able to have it for that long is really good. I'm not going to lie. But I want to be the first successful entrepreneur on my mom's side. And maybe on my dad's side, depending on how things go. And all that started with me first taking heed to my mental health. Then getting the tools in order for me to understand what it means to be an entrepreneur. And you see, after that, you see how that stacks up after that. But this is a bit of a shorter episode. I feel like that first episode was way longer because I literally had so much more to talk about. Like, literally that whole 4 weeks, 4 to 5 weeks to me for me to get here was hectic. So now these episodes probably are going to be shorter because these lessons are they're not as in depth. But that's something. But it's also because I am new. So I know, again, as I get better with this, I will be able to speak more, because I literally talk to myself all the time. I actually sit and talk to myself for hours, but it's like once I get in front of this camera and I literally, like, there's a purpose attached to it, it gets kind of lost, and I don't know why. But if you watch all the way through, thank you so much for watching and tuning in. Again, we post all of our audios every Wednesday, and we will post our visuals on Thursdays here on YouTube. But that is a wrap on this one. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye.